Hello, I'm Ben Maracle. Welcome to where Hollywood is taken seriously. Today, I will be announcing my top 5 worst movies of 2013. The following films have all received an F-. I would like to warn you that there are spoilers in this episode. Let's begin. Number 5 is American Hustle. The problems that I had with American Hustle was that it was very confusing, which made me lose interest in it, which then caused it to be an incredibly boring film. I was not impressed with the acting. I expected the acting to be a lot better. Nothing could have saved this movie. Number 4 is A Good Day to Die Hard. This is the 5th Die Hard film, and it is really bad. The biggest mistake that the studio made, other than having a ridiculous story that was 100% unoriginal, and the fact that the action was nothing new, was that the story took place in Russia. This is not a James Bond movie that takes place during the Cold War. This is a Die Hard movie. Die Hard movies take place in America. If you want to see Bruce Willis at his worst, then see A Good Day to Die Hard. Number 3 is Man of Steel. This is the worst Superman movie ever to be put on the silver screen. Warner Brothers screwed up big time with this movie. Some of the problems that I had with the film, other than the non-stop pointless action scenes between Superman and General Zod, was Russell Crowe's performance as the character Jor-El. Russell Crowe's performance was some of the worst acting that I have seen in any film that was released in 2013. His performance is so bad that it makes Marlon Brando's performance as Jor-El in the 1978 film Superman look like he deserves an Oscar nomination. Another problem I had with Man of Steel was Hans Zimmer's score. I was hoping it would be as good as the scores for the Dark Knight trilogy, but it turned out to be a big disappointment. And 2 more things I want to point out was that Jonathan Kent didn't die from a heart attack, and what was supposed to be the Fortress of Solitude isn't even called that. Once the movie was over, I had lost total respect for director Zack Snyder. I think he is one of the worst directors in Hollywood right now. Number 2 is Iron Man 3, which was too much like The Dark Knight Rises. The acting in Iron Man 3 was awful, especially Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Tony Stark. And to top it off, a big part of Iron Man 3's ending was pretty much taken directly from Batman Begins. And finally, the number 1 worst film of 2013 goes to Oz, the Great and Powerful. This not only made number 1 worst film of 2013, it also is number 2 on my list of worst films of all time. This film should have never been made. Every single executive, including CEO Robert A. Iger over at Disney, should not only be ashamed of themselves, but they should all be fired. This is not just a god-awful prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It is a god-awful prequel in general. The main problem Oz the Great and Powerful had was everything looked fake. The flying monkeys looked fake, Emerald City looked fake, and even worse, the Wicked Witch of the West looked fake. The computer generation was most poorly done. Oz, the Great and Powerful, is a great example of showing people that the special effects in the 1930s were 1,000% better than a majority of special effects created today using computers. And I would like to add that the whole film in general was just plain idiotic, and not entertaining at all. I would have rather been writing a tedious 100-page essay on the differences and similarities between trees than watching this movie. On a much lighter note, I will be announcing the best movies of 2013 after the Oscars. Thanks for watching, and I hope you keep watching my future reviews. You can like Where Hollywood is Taken Seriously on Facebook. You can also email me at wherehollywoodistakenseriously@gmail.com with your thoughts and opinions on my top 5 worst movies of 2013. And remember, this is where Hollywood is taken seriously.